Come as no surprise that I will not be endorsing Donald Trump this year. Look, I'm incredibly proud of the record of our administration. It was a conservative record that made America more prosperous, more secure, and saw conservatives appointed to our course in a more peaceful world. But that being said, during my presidential campaign, I made it clear that there were profound differences between me and President Trump on a range of issues, and not just our difference on my constitutional duties that I exercised on January the 6th.
In a stunning development that has sent shockwaves through the political landscape, former Vice President Mike Pence has made the momentous decision to withhold his endorsement from Donald Trump in the upcoming presidential election. This bold move marks a significant rupture in the Republican Party and raises profound questions about the future trajectory of conservative politics in America. Pence's declaration is not merely a political maneuver, but a deeply personal decision rooted in a complex web of ideological differences, policy disagreements, and fundamental questions about the nature of leadership and constitutional duty. The former vice president's stance represents a critical juncture in the ongoing struggle for the soul of the Republican Party, pitting traditional conservative values against the populist wave that has dominated recent years. As we dig a bit deeper into Pence's reasoning, we find a man grappling with the legacy of an administration he was proud to serve in, yet increasingly at odds with the direction it has taken since leaving office.
I mean, as I have watched his candidacy unfold, I've seen him walking away from our commitment to confronting the national debt. I've seen him starting to shy away from a commitment to the sanctity of human life. And this last week, his reversal on getting tough on China and supporting our administration's effort to force a sale of ByteDance TikTok.
This statement encapsulates the core of Pence's dilemma. He sees a divergence between the conservative principles he believes in and the current direction of Trump's campaign. The tension between loyalty to a former running mate and fidelity to deeply held principles is palpable in Pence's words. The rift between Pence and Trump is not solely about policy disagreements or differing visions for the future of the party. It's inextricably linked to the events of January 6, 2021, a day that tested the very foundations of American democracy. Pence's role on that fateful day, and his decision to fulfill his constitutional duty despite immense pressure, continues to shape his political stance and his vision for the future of conservatism in America. In a separate interview, Pence elaborated on his perspective regarding the events of January 6th and their implications for Trump's leadership.
Well, I think it's very unfortunate at a time that there are American hostages being held in Gaza, that the president or any other leaders would refer to people that are moving through our justice system as hostages, and it's just unacceptable. I was there on January 6th. I have no doubt in my mind, Margaret, that some people were caught up in the moment and that entered the Capitol, and they're certainly entitled to due process of law for any nonviolent activities that day. But the assaults on police officers, ultimately an environment that claimed lives, is something that I think was tragic that day, and I'll never diminish it.
This statement reveals the depth of Pence's commitment to the rule of law and his unwavering belief in the importance of constitutional processes. It also highlights the stark contrast between his approach to the events of January 6th and that of his former running mate, underscoring the fundamental differences in their visions for the future of the Republican Party and the country as a whole. The gravity of the January 6th events and their impact on Pence's decision-making process becomes even clearer when we consider his first-hand account of that day.
David, I was at the Capitol. I wasn't at the White House.
And when you learned later that he was watching all this unfold on TV?
I can't account for what the president was doing that day. I was at a loading dock in the Capitol where a riot was taking place.
This powerful testimony underscores the personal nature of Pence's experience on January 6th and provides insight into why he feels so strongly about upholding constitutional principles, even at the cost of political alliances. As the political landscape continues to shift and evolve, Pence finds himself in the challenging position of charting a course that honors his conservative principles while acknowledging the changing dynamics within the Republican Party. His refusal to endorse Trump is not just a rejection of a single candidate, but a call for a return to what he sees as the core values of conservatism.
I respect the right of Republican voters who've made it clear who they're for, who they want to be our standard bearer this year. What I'm going to focus my energies on is what remains of this year on what we should be for. Because I joined this party when I was in college because I heard the voice and the values of another good Irishman named Ronald Reagan, who said that we need to have a strong national defense, but also recognize we're leader of the free world, that we need to stand for traditional values, the sanctity of life.
However, Pence's stance is not without its complications. The former vice president finds himself in the delicate position of criticizing the direction of the party under Trump's influence, while still respecting the will of Republican voters. This balancing act is evident in his careful choice of words.
And for my part, I'm staying out of the presidential campaign. For the reason that I just cannot endorse this growing abandonment of our allies on the world stage that's taken hold in parts of our party. I cannot endorse ignoring our national debt that reached $35 trillion just in the last week. I cannot support marginalizing the right to life in our party, as we saw on the national platform. And between me and my former running mate, I cannot endorse President Trump's continuing assertion that I should have set aside my oath to support and defend the Constitution and acted in a way that would have overturned the election in January of 2021.
This statement reflects Pence's attempt to navigate the treacherous waters of intra-party politics. By outlining his specific objections to current party trends while simultaneously acknowledging the preferences of Republican voters, Pence is trying to position himself as a principled conservative voice within the evolving Republican landscape. As the 2024 election draws nearer, the implications of Pence's decision not to endorse Trump continue to reverberate through the political landscape. It raises important questions about the future direction of the Republican Party, the role of traditional conservatism in an era of populist politics, and the balance between party loyalty and personal principle. In a final, powerful statement, Pence encapsulates the core of his position and his vision for the future of American politics.
Irrespective of the indictment, I want the American people to know that I had no right to overturn the election. And then on that day, President Trump asked me to put him over the Constitution. But I chose the Constitution, and I always will. I mean, I really do believe that anyone who puts himself over the Constitution should never be President of the United States. And anyone who asks someone else to put themselves over the Constitution should never be President of the United States again.
Mike Pence's refusal to endorse Donald Trump represents more than just a personal decision or a political calculation. It is a defining moment in the ongoing struggle for the soul of the Republican Party and, by extension, American conservatism. As the country moves closer to another presidential election, Pence's stance serves as a powerful reminder of the tensions that exist within the GOP and the challenges it faces in defining its identity and direction for the future. Whether this marks the beginning of a significant shift in Republican politics or a fleeting moment of dissent in an increasingly polarized landscape remains to be seen.